Good evening all. So this is our paper, Dr.Madhusmita and my co-author Dr. Adil Khan. We are representing GIIM and we are from Department of Marketing with our assistant professor. And after our PhD, we both are thinking to work on the research area which interests us, and this is one of the area which we are really interested in. And this is how we started with. And to give you the background of this research, these are the introduction when we are talking about industrializations and competitions. We know that the lifestyle of the people are changing and they are trying to cope up with the modern one. And with that, we have a lot of changes that is happening, which creates also environmental impact. And mostly whenever we are thinking about environmental impact, people think this is actually the duty of the government and the agency, and we ourselves has no role in it. And we also think that the higher income group people, they have major contributions for this, and people mostly teachers and almost people who are falling under this mid income group people, they are very much concerned about the quality, the water quality, environmental sources, and they are very much concerned about the taxes what they are paying to the government instead of thinking more about the sustainable practices. So when we are talking about our research, this is about the research of young consumer sustainable practices and their willingness to pay premium. So going ahead with this, so when we are talking about these young people, so we understand that they are the catalysts, they believe in changes, and their perspective of environmental issues are different from the people, and sometimes they are also willing to pay premium to get some sustainable products if they are getting benefits out of it. They, as I highly mentioned, that the young people are ready to pay sustainable for recycled environmental friendly products, and this particular research is a work which is borrowed from this Gujarat 2023 work. We have added few dimensions, and before we go ahead with these dimensions where we are adopting 9 different constructs, I would like to share that this particular research we restricted to apparel industry, because we believe that after oil and gas industry, this is the industry which creates a lot of pollutions with the processing factors. I myself was a trainer with urban lifestyle before I completed my PhD program and joined a full-time program. So while we were showing this to the sales executives to tell them how exactly they are creating environmental impact with their different brands and all. So I also understand the way they create environmental impact and the pollution. So we have chosen this, and when we are talking about this apparel industry and sustainable clothing, so khadi is the only one which came to our mind that resonates sustainable practice, traditional thoughts, and which young people they consider slow fashion. Of course, there's few of them are considering it is a eco-friendly product. So going ahead with this our work, so our research objective is to determine whether the concepts are recycling apparel behavior, communications to different perspectives, frugal behavior, frugal consumptions, resource saving, and economic awareness amongst young people, and how they are connected with the purchase attitude or purchase intention for sustainable clothing. As I have mentioned already, we have adapted our research from Gujarat 2023 studies by adding few more dimensions. I would like to talk about this literature review. Without showing this, I have categorized all this literature review. I have only mentioned few work here in this table through which we have derived the hypothesis. To give you a detailed hypothesis look, we have actually 4 hypotheses, H1 and H2. We have 5 different constructs to it, and then we have 3 hypotheses. The 2 hypotheses, what you can see marked as red, we will discuss that in later. But yes, we are talking about this hypothesis which talks about attitude towards sustainable purchase, which has the highest significant impact on sustainable consumption intention. Second one is recycling initiatives of apparel industry significantly associated with sustainable consumption purchase attitude. The third one, what I was talking about is appropriate communication, that is also reflecting or helping the people, which help them to create a sustainable purchase attitude. Yes, frugal consumption participation principle, that is something where people do not believe and they don't go with the brands. They are not that materialistic. They find whatever is good for them. They don't consider others' opinion, and they are not more about brand conscious. So this is frugal consumption behavior. And here the fourth one has to D. It says about the strong association between environmental awareness and sustainable purchase attitude. Again here one of the positive relationship, which is a hypothesis between resource saving and purchase attitude. So whenever we are talking about resource saving, how environmental friendly we are and how are we planning to save the resources, and how that is leading to create a purchase attitude. And finally we have the relationship between sustainable purchase attitude and ready to pay willingness to the ready to pay the premium prices. And the next one is the purchase intention and how it is related with the to pay premium prices. So this is the research framework of us, which is developed from the studies of 2023. And coming back to the methods, we have 316 samples and major samples. What we can see, I will show you the next demographic table also. So this is the age group we have constructed, 20 to 35. This is a purposive sampling, and we have used a Google form for this. As I have mentioned that the studies were mostly adapted from 2023 studies. However, other constructs were adopted from other studies as well. So this is the sample demographic profile of our research, and here you can see the age group, major dominant age group is 20 to 25 with 104 sample out of 316, and most of them are graduate with 33.5, 106 sampling number. Mostly the research profile dominant, the sample profile dominant with the male group having 56.6, and the income group is up to 15,000. That's what the sample profile. Now to go ahead and to run our proposed model and to find out the objective, we have done a PLS-SCM. Because we know that the normality, when the data is not normal, we can go ahead with this, and when the constructs are quietly complex in nature, so we can go ahead and we can use this. So you can see here the three data. So Cronbach alpha, as we all know, it is the reliability studies which actually measure the constructs which is supposed to be measured. So you can see all the reliability figures which is more than 7, so it is acceptable. Now we are also talking about this AVE. This dimension is also measuring the convergent validity, and you can say the more it should be more than 0.50, and you can see all the values of our constructs. So now this is coming to this heterotrait monotrait table. So this particular one is evaluating the discriminant validity among the latent constructs, and you can see the threshold limit, it should be less than 0.85, which is a study of Ringel and SARS 2015. So coming back, the second table of this PLS-SCM, this also is one of the criteria which talks about the latent constructs, how it is related. So with these two tables, there is a heterotrait, monotrait, and this Fornell lateral criterion. Based on this two table, we can say that the latent constructs in this model are adequately differentiated and they are contributing much on our studies. So this is the data after running the model, and this is the hypothesis of our studies. As I have mentioned, we have 4 hypotheses, and second hypothesis have different elements. So here you can see that most hypotheses are supporting with the p values mentioned here. I would like to highlight only these 2 hypotheses which is not supporting with our previous studies. So these are all supported and these are not supported. So I'll just go back with the same frugal attitude, frugal consumption. So I was mentioning about, Yes. So this frugal consumption, as I mentioned, that they are not materialistic and they don't go with the brand conscious. And if you can correlate that with our sample profile, which is majorly dominating with the group of 20 to 25, we know that how brand conscious they are. So in this particular research, the particular hypothesis is not supporting. Again, talking about this research save, China in 2022, they proposed a resource saving and environmental friendly society, which is aiming to create a congenial and sustainable relationship between human activities and natural ecosystem But yes, with the sample profile we were using, that is also not supporting. So these are our research, and these are the few only references I have used. Full references are available on the paper, and I would like to get recommendations or inputs from these two hypotheses, which is not supporting, and how can we further develop this paper to meet its objective. Thank you all, and open for recommendations.
Thank you. Yeah, anyone? Seems everyone is too tired or what?
So when you say that your major part of the respondents was between 20 and 25, do you think they have the capacity to take a decision making? First, second, willingness to pay is one thing. Second is the finished part of the organic products. The finished part is not good, and the trend which is in the fast fashion, or we can say the trend which is there among these age group people 20-25, they are more towards brand or towards the vanilla apparels, but based on the review and ratings. So how you think that the responses that they have given are genuine and they reflect their true sense?
Okay, so again I will refer back to the demographic profile. You have rightly identified, sir. So when we are talking about the income group, which is less than 15,000, and we know people with the range of 20 to 35, they do not have that age, do not have that income. However, people after 23, 24, after their graduations, they started earning. And we know this herd mentalities. Few of them, they go with some sustainable environmental practices. Sometimes that's not their choices, but it is the choices of their peers and other reference group. So when we are talking and doing this particular research, young consumer sustainable practices habit, our research says no, this is not supporting, because they all are brand conscious, oriented. They are not frugal in nature. However, the previous studies what we have adopted, they all says that frugal consumptions and purchase attitudes are positively correlated. So in this study, we say it is not related, which is fact. You can see in this class, in this room, how many people are wearing a sustainable apparel. And outside, it's a general perception that people having more than 30 to 40 ranges or more than that, they go for khadi products and all. So these khadi products are not for the young people, though this is changing. So what kind of practices this Khadi Gramodyog India, because it's a government initiatives, they are adopting, because when I was also doing this research and all, I have gone through this website. So in the classroom, we have a normal exploratory study, this information, just a formal discussions. I was showing different, product items which were very eye-catching for them, but when I revealed the prices, they were like, no. So,
Exactly.
yes, so that's what the previous study says, it is highly related, but our study says, no, this is not. Again, when we are talking about sustainable practices, people says, resource saving, people are more resource saving, resource saving and this purchase attitude is related, but our study says no, this is not related, because the sample profile what we were using, they also follow their own things. So this is what supporting and not supporting, which I have shown here. I told that these are the previous research which is supporting, but our research is not favoring the previous research. So we can say that yes, there are a lot of strategies to be prepared, so that people would be more khadi oriented, and this particular segment can also be developed in future. So that's how the work is.
Done? So first of all, good. The thought is very nice, what you are actually working on. There's a need of an hour to research on these topics. So kudos to you, what you're doing. In IIM, we always discuss one single point of concern, and that concern is sustainable as a buzzword itself. We all say sustainable is a very fashionable word to be used in nowadays medicine care. So I couldn't find any of the definitions throughout where you can tell me what is sustainable apparel. You have used these terms, right? Or sustainable clothing. So can we get some definitions from literature? My PhD scholar is sitting, and we've been fighting like cats and dogs many times in all our PhD discussion. Then we couldn't find any.
No, actually, for this, time benefits, I have not used any definitions and all, because when, as you rightly mentioned,
some of them, because we are not able to find this, to be very honest. It's only been said by people like you and me, but there is no proper terminology being in a way coined, and what is the meaning of then sustainable clothing?
Ma'am, when we are talking about sustainable clothing, I will give you one particular example from certain lifestyle practices. I forgot this is time of 2019 to 20. There was a particular brand of urban lifestyle. They are into jeans. I forgot the brand name.
This is this is Armani.
Not ma'am. Urban lifestyle. They are,
Levi's.
no, Levi's.
That
is not
bottle and green they're using with this.
actually, they recycled the old jeans and they came up with a new jeans. So
That's okay. That's very urban.
yes.
That Zara is doing. You can purchase rented products from Zara.
Yes. So when I was just giving you one of the examples. So how sustainable clothing we can reuse for a longer period of time. For example, we buy normal cloth, not normal clothes. We buy clothes when it is saying it's not premium in nature. Fine. So those clothes are not sustainable for a long period of time. I can give you further example also. If you use any,
One second. Your first factor is sustainable clothing is long usable.
yes.
Longevity.
Longevity, then it should be environmental friendly because
Yes.
you can reuse it again. You can give it to the companies and they can reuse and they can further come up with a new fashion labels with that. So they can
That is sustainable practice.
sustainable
But
practice.
what is sustainable clothing? My question is that.
Okay,
You're getting my question. In theory, in literature, because you have to prove yourself.
fine.
The terminology is sustainable clothing. I was stuck there. The
Fine.
moment you started.
Fine.
So find out, you can have that definition, n number of definition, which is talking about sustainable apparel, sustainable clothing. From hardcore researcher.
Okay.
Not from people like what we are naming ourselves with examples. Correct? That is important. The first suggestion. Second is slide suggestion. I think you're missing out the framework, or maybe you have shown me the hypothesis.
Framework is there now.
Yeah, please, can I see? Okay, so you're showing me the output file of your PMS, correct?
Yes.
So how did you came up again with recycling, communication, frugal, I think what is this? RES underscore SAV?
Ma'am, resource saving.
Oh great, resource saving and eco awareness.
Yes.
How did you came with this? On
Ma'am,
what
these
basis?
are the different concepts that we have adopted from different studies. As I have mentioned here, that in the method section I have highlighted that these three are this is actually the main study from which we have adopted this particular framework. However, this particular repurchase attitude and willingness to pay premium we have adopted from these two studies.
Okay.
Sustainable orientations we have adapted from this particular study. So total 9 constructs of our studies are from different work which is already proposed, and we were trying to check that whether these model which is already established by other authors with different years, is it applicable in the current year with the existing
Understood.
research.
So you made your own conceptual.
Yes,
model, right? So why communication?
Because whenever we are talking about communication, as we do sustainable clothing are slightly premium in nature, so unless and until that would be rightly communicated to the people, because you yourself questioned that many research scholars, many people, they do not understand what is sustainable clothing.
Fantastic.
Unless and until awareness would be created by them, they would not be having the right set of mind to think about the product or to have that purchase intention of that product. So once that can be created with the communication messages of companies, then we can think about the purchase.
Can I have the scales of communication, please?
Ma'am, right now here we do not have
Just
it.
one or two if you can narrate.
Actually, this is the work of both the authors, so the other author is taking care of it.
Alright, because I had a question here.
Yes.
You're getting my point why
I
I'm actually
can share
trying
that
to
with you,
narrate
ma'am.
that,
I
right?
can share that.
So
with you, ma'am.
there is some mismatch when you are bringing in. Just see, because I'm not able to see your scales over there. When I'll see the scales, then I can better give you the input that how it can come up, right?
Fine, ma'am.
Because there is bit complexity and ambiguity again in bringing up the output of your work. Though you had a question on frugal, great. You had a question that this has not been, which is good. I mean, everything cannot be even accepted. But still, there is a mismatch and complexity. It can come as a more clear work if you will bring each and every scale with a pattern which should come up between independent and dependent variable.
Okay.
That's the only suggestion from my side. And of course, the main is sustainable clothing. Thank you so much. All right.
Thank you, ma'am, for taking and your time. Thank you.